Hello everybody on, I guess it's YouTube? First things on YouTube? Yeah?
Yeah.
I hope you're all doing well today. Today we will be doing a podcast-like review-like thing on the Pokemon movies. Starting off today at least with the first movie, Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, as well as Evolution, which is the remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back. Just to give our thoughts on the matter, I guess.
Yeah, we just decided to just go back on this movie we both hold some fond nostalgia for, because yeah, we grew up with this shit.
Like, I only, like, last week did I watch the remake?
I mean, we both only, like, properly watched the remake last week, because I tried watching it and I'm like, oh, please, CG, stop harassing my eyes, please.
But yeah, when Ian has a strong hatred towards CG, and I don't mind as much, so I was more inclined to watch it, but even I wasn't too happy with it.
I mean, we'll
for a movie.
Yeah, we'll get to our thoughts on that later, because it is kinda not necessary to do it, I guess.
But we will get there. We do have a bit of a list.
Yeah.
I hope I remember everything on my list.
Yeah, I hope you do.
I entirely lost my pen and paper during this past few days. So everything is just stored in my memory.
Which is fine, We've both watched this movie enough as children to just remember everything. Well, not remember exactly everything.
Apparently not! Because, you know, as we just discussed, there's a lot of things that we may have missed out on.
I mean, that we're gonna have to talk about, yeah, the difference between the dub and the sub from what little we know about them.
Yeah, as well as, I mean, one thing that I was looking forward to, one reason I was looking forward to rewatching the movie is to see how it holds up over the years in terms of, like, you know, like, if we look at something like Medabots or Digimon, you watch it as a child, it's all fun and games. You watch it as an adult and there are some pretty raunchy jokes in there for, you know, the parents to enjoy.
It's not even the parents, it's just you feel like it's the dumb people catching on cuck in the background.
Yeah, 100%. And it is absolutely hilarious. I appreciate it greatly.
Yeah, which is always fun. It's one of those traits that only early 2000s anime has anymore.
Yeah, I think dubbers have gone. They have gotten better at their craft over the years to some degree.
I mean,
I know there's a lot of people that are anti-dub, but let's be honest, there are some really brilliant English voice actors out there.
Yeah, I lean more towards that. I prefer English voice actors in gaming rather than anime.
I can agree with that as well.
The thing is, we don't understand Japanese fully, so we don't fully get inflections on the language, and that's why it sounds better than when a dubber will try doing a thing and it just feels like they aren't putting 100%. Yeah.
There's an entirely different feeling behind the phrase.
Yes.
And it just kind of puts, as otakus and as weebs, we are put the first.
Yes.
But that being said, it's nice that like, this is one of the few movies that I will always prefer watching in dub, just because of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Even if the sub does sound better, which I can't confirm or deny since I've never watched the original movie in dub, or in sub, sorry.
Yeah, which I think we should say the Pokemon movies are probably the only ones we will be looking at mostly in dub, whereas any future movies we will look at mostly in sub.
I mean, there is the Digimon movie.
Yeah,
which
I feel like I want to do two different movies, because they are...
You want to do different... They are very different movies.
Yes, I want to do two different recordings, because they are two very different movies.
And one other movie that, if we do cover it, I think I've only watched it dub at this point in time is the Cowboy Bebop movie.
Oh yeah, I've only watched that in sub though.
Yeah, because the dub on Cowboy Bebop is absolutely brilliant. I will shank anyone that says otherwise with my gun.
I've heard about that. Before we get there, I'll probably give the dub a watch just to see, because it's been a while for me as well. So,
like, don't get me wrong, the sub is also beautiful, but I feel like the dub just because of the setting of the show and the movie, the dub just kind of does good.
Yeah. Cowboy Bebop is a very Americanized setting, so a dub will work better than, say, Yakuza, where we have Mark Hamill trying to do Majima.
We gotta make up for this. I should kill you. Stupid! Fucking motherfucker!
Which, as we know, it was fucking hilarious for one.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
I'll give them that.
Who the fuck do you think you are? Huh?
Over there. What the hell's going on?
Get the fuck off me, you piece of shit!
Shut the hell up and come here.
As we start, shall we talk about the fucking Pikachu's vacation short?
Remind me again. I didn't actually see when I rewatched it now. I didn't actually see the vacation short. So which one is it?
So when I rewatched, I didn't see it either. But it's the one where they all go to this theme park and they all just leave their Pokemon there for a while.
Oh wait, is this Pikachu's birthday?
No, it's not. That's 2000.
Oh, the anniversary.
No, that's 2000. This is the one where he fights with a Raichu. And
honestly can't say I remember this one.
He fights with a Raichu, Togepi cries, and then they start fighting because they're trying to cheer up Togepi.
Oh, I vaguely remember this now,
yes, and then they just mess up a bunch of Pokemon while they're fighting. It's so weird, but this is such an early 2000s thing where it feels like to draw in more viewers and to just also lengthen the movie time for probably to get into cinemas. They just put on this weird little short at the start of the movie.
Yeah, and as we discussed, this is something they have done in I think every Pokemon movie up until like I don't think they have done it in the
no, I believe they have. It's just we have never seen it.
Oh, okay. Because when I was a child, at least, I was always very excited to see those little shorts. I remember the one where Pikachu just got lost in the city and met some Pichus?
Yes, it was a few of Ash's Pokemon, I think, that got lost in the city, met some Pichus, and then they just wreck up this entire mini playground. Yeah.
There was some Magpie over there, or Magpie.
Yeah, that was they were running from a Houndoom, if I remember right.
Yeah. And yeah, those were always just really fun for me as a child.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we get to see the cute Pokemon doing cute shit. That's what's not to love about it as a child.
Honestly, they could just make an entire series of adventures of Pokemon themselves and it would be still pretty good.
Yeah.
Getting back to the movie as we start. So we start the movie with not the professor. We start the movie...
Hey, professor.
No, we start the movie with Mewtwo questioning who the hell he is.
Well, that's the thing. We still start the movie the same way in both versions. With the professor in the woods, looking like an archaeologist, looking for the remains of a Mew. And finding the remains of a Mew. From that point, though, the two of us have now just realized that there is a scene that I don't think was in the original movie or the original runtime of the movie.
No, but I do. I do remember the scene as a different short entirely.
And then it was also cut entirely from Evolution.
Yes. And
which we both found.
Yes, and this is the scene where Mewtwo wakes up early. He meets the professor's daughter, who is also a clone, and they become best friends.
And dead.
Yes, but over time, she and the three starters the professor may dies.
Oz cloning.
Yes. And then they die, and that's supposed to be where Mewtwo's, like, trauma comes from.
After they die, he does go into a bit of a rage, or like it basically goes crazy for a minute.
Yes.
And they wipe his memory clean.
Yes, and this is supposed to
of the events of those people
yeah,
dying.
this is supposed to be his trauma, but this is left out entirely.
Like in the original movie, I think he does mention something about remembering a girl or something like that at some point in the movie. I don't quote me on that. It's been a while.
So in the original dub, it's like 1 minute 15 of, you know, the classic Pokemon narrator. The man that's to this day still narrating Pokemon.
Today, Ash, Brock, and Misty are taking a short break from their Pokemon adventures. As always, Ash is determined to become a Pokemon master.
This young man is Ash from Pallet Town. He's traveling with friends on a training journey, aiming to become a Pokemon master.
Yes, even Evolution had him
Yes.
as the narrator.
And so basically it's just Mew questioning his entire existence while this man talks. And it just gets to the point of telling you why Mewtwo is confused, whereas Evolution, it focuses more on the team, the professor, and that finding Mew's fossil. Which
Yeah,
is a very weird thing that they try to explain when I feel the original did
And
it
that
better.
scene, which at the same time though, the original did cut out, or at least from our perspective, did cut out the part where we meet the professor and see his daughter
Yes,
and all that.
which is a very
Because-
weird thing to do, yes.
Because, like I said, that part of the first part of Evolution is the first part of that whole scene, short.
But
So yeah, I agree. It is very weird that they cut it out, because that is what gave Mewtwo his entire goal, or like his motivation for being the little bitch boy that he
Yes,
was.
yes,
So
but
to speak.
in the original dub, it also just feels like you aren't supposed to care about the professor, because whenever they show him, he's heavily draped in shadows. You can't ever see his face. It's like he's just meant to be this anonymous figure that he's the one that made Mewtwo, but he's not important to the story.
Like, he'll die in a few
Yes.
minutes. It's not important. He just made Mewtwo,
Yeah,
that's all.
which obviously the sub is very different, where he is an actual character, but in the original dub, no, he isn't.
But even in the sub, or in the sub and in that short, he, once again, they don't show his face, he's always draped in shadows, all of that stuff. But they at least gave him the dialogue that makes him human, that makes him a character.
But yeah, so after that, the entire jungle section, we get to Mewtwo waking up, and the doctors stare at him like, yes, we've done this.
We have done
We
it.
have done it. Like, not worried that the thing just broke the glass. Nothing. It's just...
No, he didn't even break the glass yet. They were just excited that he was finally waking
No.
up.
So they were staring at him as he's waking up, and then he breaks the glass, and they're like, we've done it, we've succeeded. Which, it's even weirder in the Evolution version. Because if you look in the Evolution version, he breaks the glass, and the man isn't looking where the glass just shattered, and there's glass all around his feet. But only after the glass is around his feet does he turn and look at the tank.
In the sub, that makes sense, because at that point he was just fixated on his experiment succeeding as to not, damage his daughter's memory. Because the entire point of this experiment was so that he could bring her back to life using cloning technology. So that makes sense that he would be too distracted by his success for him to notice that, there's fucking glass all over the floor that he's gonna cut his footsies on if he's not very careful.
Also,
fortunately, he didn't have to worry about cutting his footsies because...
Also, we should probably say, Evolution is a near shot-for-shot remake. It's just, it expands on a few things, it makes a few things more clearer. Basically the same movie, it just changes a few things.
It changes one or two elements of the original movie, and the entire thing is CG.
Yes.
That's the
like,
difference.
you understand a few things better, like, okay, we'll talk about that later when we come to those scenes, but yeah, it expands on a few things to understand what Team Rocket had in plans for Mewtwo and that.
Yes. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised they didn't just take the original audio and paste it a bit differently for the...
Yeah, that would have honestly worked. That's how close, shot for shot, even though it has like 20 minutes added on, but as I said, that's just adding extra things like trainers dying, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, because that's fun. That's the fun talk.
Yes. So, in the original, Mewtwo destroys the entire lab out of, like, anger. Like, he doesn't know who he is, he's very confused with life. It's clear he doesn't know his purpose and what's happening. It's just that these people don't care about him, and they clearly just see him as basically an experiment.
Yes, it's like they were neglecting him, and that kind of pushed him over the edge from... Not to mention with his past trauma, although he got his memory wiped, those lingering memories were still somewhere in his subconscious. So, makes for a very angsty teenager.
And in the dub, you immediately... Like, in the dub, it's the first time... Like, I love the atmosphere of this movie at the start. Like, how heavy the shadows is, and you can see immediately that... like, as Mewtwo's destroying this lab, the Professor becomes a character by they remove the shadows off his face, and it's just him regretting what he's done. Like, as he says, we sought to create the strongest Pokemon, and we succeeded.
We dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokemon, and we succeeded.
And then he just dies.
We should preface that the reason he decided to clone Mew wasn't out of malice, or at least originally, it wasn't out of malice or to create the strongest Pokemon. It was just that Mew's DNA structure was the most likely to be able to withstand the cloning process.
That's the sub again. In the dub, it's just...
Once again,
Giovanni wanted a strong Pokemon, and he was doing that.
No. Once again, the scene that was cut out of the dub.
It's a scene cut.
This is explained.
Cut out of the dub, yes. But in the context of the movie alone, he was a professor working for Team Rocket. It's never...
He does also mention...
It's never touched upon that he's doing this for the sake of his daughter again. We keep that for sub only for now.
Yeah. His daughter was dead, and he got so engulfed in his work that his wife left him. That's basically what happened.
Whereas in looking at Evolution's version of the scene, it's very weird because the lab goes up in flames too. Mewtwo just also freaks out that he's being ignored and all that because he's just seen as an experiment. Though it does just seem like he's sadder that they're ignoring him than anything else.
Yeah. In Evolution, he's literally just throwing a temper tantrum because they are not paying him enough attention. He is being neglected, so he destroys the lab. That is literally
And this is where you see they just went overboard that they had the fact that it's CG by making the flames purple. The lab is exploding. The weird change they did also in the original dub. The professor is in the room staring at Mewtwo about to die, and this is why he's expositing that we made the strongest Pokemon, whereas in the remake, he's in a different room entirely, looking at a different wall, expositing the exact same line, but then the camera has to go through all the fires to go back to Mewtwo, who's nuking the place.
It really was a bit strange, and we have touched on it already, but the CG for the dub, it didn't look like it should be an anime. It kinda looked more like it should be video game.
Yes, so the CG is impressive, I'll give it that. But the human and some of the Pokemon designs don't really work for it. Like, it has the most
Yeah,
fiery
it's
fire, it's got the best reflections, and the water looks amazing.
Like, you would think this is Minecraft...
RTX.
RTX, yeah. But yeah, like you said, the character models just don't all look great, especially the humans. It looks like more out of something like a... like, what did I compare it to the last time? Dragon Quest?
Yes, you compared it to that, yeah.
Yeah, so, like an RPG like that, where they've got the that almost Minecraft blocky texture, but it's more rounded out. Although, once again, we have said this I have said this in the past, but this movie is for the next generation of children, so it doesn't really matter to us, because I think the children do like that kind of art style.
Yeah, but I do feel like Evolution will age very badly compared to the original, because the original is still quite the thing. As I said, I love the atmosphere of this movie, solely because they have the freedom to put shadows over the characters and whatnot, whereas in Evolution, everyone is well lit compared to the room.
Yes, the original looks like an anime movie, whereas Evolution just looks like an extended game cutscene. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Wrong with it.
Just not really my cup of tea.
It's the feel that's different, and that's the thing about it. So getting back to it, after he explodes the labs, OG of OG Giovanni shows up. Just he stands in the middle of this giant lab fire, making a deal. Just me.
Yeah, this is after he somehow manages to land his helicopter.
If you look at Evolution, at least the helicopter Mewtwo somehow left the helicopter pad alone.
Oh, okay. They were lenient enough, like, in case I get visitors, you know?
Yeah, and then Giovanni just comes, Mewtwo, I've come to bargain. And just makes up a bunch of shit to get Mewtwo on his side. He gets Mewtwo on his side and just puts him in this armor, which in Evolution they just edge up with random back spikes.
Yeah, they made it a lot more, some would say badass. Nah. I wouldn't be of those some.
I don't
some
like
would.
the design of the armor.
I'm not a fan of either. I always really liked Mewtwo's armor.
Yeah,
the original armor.
Like, it looks impressive, yes, because in at least the CG on the armor and the new head plate looks very impressive, because it has, it looks like he's ready for Corona with the valves and everything. Whereas the other one is like smooth and alien-like. But like, if you get rid of the back spikes and the bulky arm sections, I feel and the shoulder plate, the design of the CG version will be greatly improved.
Yes, I 100% agree. Like the original kind of had that like alien xenomorph type.
Yeah, which fits Mewtwo's entire design, which is meant to feel very alien and not meant for this world, which he isn't.
I mean, the fucker goes off to space afterwards, so you know.
No, he just flies away, but we'll get to that part. And then continuing after that, we cut to just Mewtwo wrecking shit. I love this scene, to be honest.
Oh, wait, which scene is this?
I'm talking about just the montage entirely of Mewtwo, like...
Oh, when he's just fucking up everybody.
Like Onyx comes, he just...
As Giovanni's...
Yes, he just eats Onyx. And then here's one of the things that I say cleared up a lot. In the original dub, when I was younger, I thought the Taurus was Team Rocket's.
Oh, yes. I also thought the Taurus was Team Rocket's. So, like, why the fuck is he fucking up his own Giovanni?
No, that makes sense when you think Giovanni's training Mewtwo. But in the context of looking at the remake Evolution makes it more clearer that he's just catching a bunch of Taurus. I don't know what the fuck Giovanni needs a bunch of Taurus for. Is he gonna challenge Ash and his 30 Taurus?
It did Ash enough good,
Is he gonna challenge Ash and his 30 Taurus?
Just have a battle with the Taurus. And then past that, it cuts to, I think it was Daddy taking on the gym
it was Alakazam, and then after that, it's a very nice nod. Well, it's not a nod, but it's one of the few scenes that was like referring to the anime itself, where the anime was clearly advertising the movie with this mysterious Pokemon that Giovanni had, where
that just fucked up Gary's Arcanine and
which it keeps it, it a nice nod in the movie where you only see Gary's back, and this is in both parts. This is in both ones where you only see Gary from behind.
I feel like I could tell it was Gary more in the original though. Like, I feel like they kind of shifted him a bit to the side, so you only see like his one leg and the shirt a bit.
You do see the hair, but it is like how the CG is. It does look slightly different.
I'll be honest. I'm taking a look through some of the clips now, and I didn't notice that the Alakazam belonged to another trainer.
No. The Alakazam is a completely different trainer.
Ah, that's my B.
And then we just reached the point where Giovanni becomes a fucking idiot. Where he for no reason says, "You must serve humans," and then Mewtwo's like, "Okay, I'm not gonna do that," and leaves.
But I don't wanna. But how about this? Just hear me out. What if I said no and fucks off? Somehow Giovanni survives, but
he saw this happening and he just runs away. He immediately just leaves the room.
Because, I mean, you have the world's strongest Pokemon working for you in an amicable partnership. Why the fuck would you say something like, your purpose is to serve humans, when you know he's got a complex about shit like that?
It was clearly working very well, until Giovanni got a bit too far up his own ass.
Which is his issue throughout Pokemon.
In every iteration of Giovanni, he's a bit too far up his own ass. But I will say, at least in Evolution, they gave Giovanni a plan where if something like this happens, the suit tries to lock Mewtwo in.
Yes.
Where in the original, it's just the arms we've seen do nothing, I think.
Yeah, as far as I know, the armor doesn't do much, it just exists.
Yes,
which, he claims it was made to help Mewtwo control his
when
power.
Mewtwo immediately sees through the shit and goes, "But you suppress me," and then he goes, "It's to focus you."
Which, I mean, he rolled a nat 20 on that shit, let's be honest. His charisma must be off the fucking charts.
Mewtwo just like, okay, I believe you, even though he can read minds. But in Evolution, you see at least the armor slaps in to make wrists and leg cuffs. That doesn't work.
I have confirmed.
But it does at least do this.
I have confirmed the original armor did nothing to try and stop him.
Yeah.
And then he once again just blows up the fucking building and flies away.
Which is honestly what Mewtwo is best at this point.
Yeah. Blowing up shit and flying away. Because cool guys don't look at explosions. They blow shit up and fly away.
And then he returns to not Cinnabar Island.
Totally not Cinnabar Island.
Another thing, I guess no one would understand the reference that it's Cinnabar Island. Instead, they just call it New Island.
Yeah.
Where I feel like if you called it Cinnabar, it wouldn't hurt the thing, because in Cinnabar, it's also the island is fucked up by Gen 2. You can call it Cinnabar, because that's what the island does look like in Gen 2.
Yes.
Like, you can say the volcano erupting was a lie, and it was actually Mewtwo destroyed everything on the island.
Yeah, for the sake of the anime, that is definitely something you could do.
Getting back to the movie at hand, we get to Ash and the gang. You know, Ash being lazy. Brock making... Well, sadly Brock isn't making... sadly Brock isn't making his famous jelly donuts.
Jelly donuts?
He's instead making white stew that's in... he makes constantly in this show, let's be honest.
I don't know if it was in the original, but there is a reference to jelly donuts in Evolution.
Yes, he does reference jelly donuts. My favorite
Holy
jelly donuts. Shit. My famous.
Let's gaze upon sun-drenched seas and eat my famous jelly donuts made with love.
I heard that and I was like, okay, either this is an amazing meme by the dubbers, or Brock just really loves jelly donuts and has not learned the difference between jelly donuts and onigiri. after all these years.
Yeah. And then we get this. Well, in the original, it's a guy that he's the marking on his hat. I don't know. It looks like he's part of a team from a future game, but I can't be sure. But
okay.
yeah, so he challenges Ash, and in the remake, it's fucking DK West that comes. He just appears and challenges Ash. And this mofo got Pokemon no one's seen before. Just brings out the Don fan.
Just immediately a Don fan.
Don fan. And then... Yes. And then... I actually do love this scene where it plays the... well, a remix of the original theme in both versions over the battle.
Yeah.
Where I feel like the remake makes it too obvious Mewtwo is watching them, like no one will fucking understand. Whereas in the original, it just cuts to a screen flickering and you're like, oh, someone's watching them. Whereas in the remake, there's a Fiero with a camera, and then it just cuts to Mewtwo and Nurse Joy watching.
And Nurse Joy. Well, we didn't know it was Nurse Joy yet. Well, we weren't supposed to know it was Nurse Joy yet, at least.
Yeah,
but yes, I do agree. The soundtrack... Okay, can we just point out the soundtrack for a second? Or we're gonna leave that for later.
We can point out how the soundtrack in the dub is a bit better, because I feel like it matches the tone of the dub better, whereas the more serious soundtrack of Evolution, I feel matches probably the Japanese version better, but it doesn't match how goofy
more likely, yes,
the dub is.
Yes, and also just, it doesn't... I feel like it didn't give enough feeling at all to the show or to the movie.
Yes,
in my opinion.
we'll touch on it later, but like, they cut out fucking Brother, My Brother.
Yeah. Not even just that, even during like other fight scenes, it's just very lackluster. It's like, music is supposed to be there to install like some kind of emotion in you, but there was kind of a lack of that in Evolution.
Yes, and then yeah, so basically we get now to the Dragonite obviously coming in, inviting Ash.
Ah, yes.
And then
everyone's favorite scene.
Team Rocket just catching him with a frying pan.
Where should... I mean, I know that Dragonite is probably a tamed Pokemon, but I mean, they should just take that frying pan everywhere and just catch Pokemon with it, let's be honest.
Pokemon.
They just love the fucking Dragonite.
Yeah, and then we get this, like, I love how they don't ever show Mewtwo until later on in the movie again. Like, every scene it's like, he's making a storm, so they just show his arm twirling, and you understand he's just gonna fuck up everything now. Yes. Whereas in Evolution, again, I think they just show him, and it's like...
They show him creating the storm while, like, his castle was already built at this point, right?
Yes. Yeah. Like, they just cut to Mewtwo's face and then he's concentrating and making the storm, where I feel like you're taking away the mystery of the character by doing this.
Yeah.
Like, it was nice how mysterious Mewtwo is in the original dub, where you don't fully understand his plans beforehand.
Like, it was very, what's that I'm looking for? Spontaneous. It's like, it goes from Ash on his adventure, just doing his thing, and then getting an invitation to an island for a tournament. That is all you know. Whereas here we know, okay, that tournament is just orchestrated by Mewtwo to gather the quote-unquote strongest trainers around. Fucking bullshit is what that is.
Yes, and again, I just love like the old school painted backgrounds and the painted foregrounds and all that. Like it just looks so good. Whereas in CG, the CG looks impressive, but it doesn't have that same aesthetic to it. Oh my god! And then so they get invited. They go to the harbor, where we see at least in Evolution, Electabuzz feels bad that he's getting fat shamed by his trainer.
Unfortunately, he was eating too many Poketreats.
Yes, so he's just rubbing his belly.
Pokeblocks weren't even invented yet, but he was just eating too many of them. And then we do meet Mr. All My Pokemon Know Water.
Yes, Gabby. That's okay. I will give Evolution the ups for fixing that, because they realized not all these Pokemon are water
Hold
types.
on, not all these Pokemon are water
Whereas
types.
in
One of these is a normal
the
poison
original
type.
dub, it's all my Pokemon are water type. But can we just talk about how bad Jenny's voice acting is?
In Evolution.
In all of them.
I mean, I guess I'm just used to it over the years.
My thing is, she speaks in the same tone with every sentence.
And besides, if you tried that stunt and your Pokemon got hurt, you'd be out of luck because we had to close down the Pokemon Center.
I mean, this is the same woman that called Growlithe an Arcanine.
Arcanine! Flamethrower!
I don't know how she got a police license.
Kind of my issue with it's clearly purposeful, but I wish they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Whereas
No, I agree with you.
whoever voice acts the Spanish woman does a fantastic job.
Listen to me. The prophets have predicted the return of the winds of water.
Yes. Although I will say, I entirely forgot about her existence in the original.
She doesn't play
Until-
a huge part in it, that's why. But
I mean, she doesn't play a huge part in either of them.
yes,
She's
but
just more fodder for Brock to prove over
yes,
at this point.
But it is nice that they just brought in an actual good voice actor for this. And
Yes.
she gives weight to the storm. She doesn't give as much weight as in the original, where she tells of the legend of the storm and foreshadows how the Pokemon crying will fix everything.
Oh, yes.
Like-
Wait, speaking of, that is another thing that is mentioned in the prologue that was corrupt. The little girl does mention how her father used to tell her stories of Pokemon's tears producing light, or something like that.
Oh,
Which is supposed to hint at
yes, later on, which
Yeah.
also would then make me
have been very nice.
Yeah. And then we proceed to okay, in the original one guy dies.
Yes. It was Mr. Fiero, right?
Yes, it was Mr. Fiero in the original dub. Whereas in Evolution, they went fucking crazy by adding two more, Mr. Kingler and someone else. I cannot remember who now.
Mr. Scyther.
Yes, Mr.
Don't
Kingler
forget
and Mr.
Mr. Scyther.
Scyther. That's Mr. Fiero you see him go with the other two.
Yeah.
And then he's just gone forever. To be fair, by the end, I don't... We'll talk about by the end, but... Yeah, we will. I think we'll get to that when we get too close to the end.
Yes.
So they
Sure.
cut out one of my favorite gags in the dub in Evolution where... fucking Team Rocket come as Vikings for no reason.
Yeah.
And I would have loved context in the Japanese version as to why.
Why?
'Cause,
Of all things.
yeah, in the original dub, it just feels like they want to make a Minnesota Vikings reference, which I think is a baseball team.
I didn't know Vikings still existed.
They mostly live in Minnesota!
Probably.
And in Evolution, it's changed to they are random sailors, but they had an accent that I can't remember right now.
I think it was just a normal accent.
No, it's pirate accents.
Come in? Well, it'll cost ya!
But if ye tell a good tale, we may just take you anyway.
Was it pirate?
Yes, it was pirate
Why
accent.
were they pirates?
I
They
don't
had
know.
a swan boat. Why were they pirates?
That's a Lapras
Oh,
boat.
Lapras boat.
But
Same thing.
they were using a freaking pirate accent, and I was so confused watching this. Because at least the Swedish Viking accent made sense.
Did it? No.
No, the entire scene doesn't make sense, but the accent makes sense to the
Oh,
costume.
yeah.
Oh yeah, can we just also appreciate in Evolution how gold Staryu is?
Yes,
Like,
Staryu
as
is
I said earlier.
absolutely made of gold.
Yeah.
But which makes sense for a Staryu.
Yes, as I said earlier, they just nail reflections and lighting in this movie, in the Evolution.
Because I mean, obviously you can't translate gold too well in animation or hand-drawn animation.
Only Murata can do that.
Yeah, and because I mean, coloring is definitely the challenge on that
Yes.
front. But it does make sense for a Staryu to be gold because it literally is just a starfish with a ring
Yes.
around one finger,
Just fucking Patrick with gold on him.
pretty much. So it's actually really nice that they actually got that textured very accurate.
So we get to where they get to the harbor, and you finally realize how much Brock just sumps women.
Yeah, and I think it was laid on even thicker in Evolution.
Yes, it's laid on even thicker way. He sees Nurse Joy, and it's like, huh, she looks familiar, but I love her.
Here's the thing, like, a normal person would see a missing poster and go, oh no, Nurse Joy is missing. Brock sees a missing poster and goes, wow, she's beautiful. I must have her.
Yeah, we didn't mention this earlier. Well, I mentioned human designs are weird, but the three main characters just look so bad in Evolution, honestly.
Yes, they really do.
Like, Brock feels like he's too short, and his face is too weird. Misty's face is just entirely fucked up. And Ash, I don't know what the hell happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, they fucked up Ash's design in just, like, all the... Like, the previous 4 iterations of Ash... Oh, no, the previous 2 iterations of Ash haven't been kind to him.
Yeah!
Referring to Sun and Moon.
Yeah,
and
but I feel like it's
one.
especially weird in the CG version they kept his cheek markings. Because it looks so weird. It's like whenever they try doing a CG Naruto and they include the
face mark,
yeah,
the whiskers,
the whiskers,
yeah.
the scratches, which I don't think anyone knows how to translate that accurately because no one knows what the hell it is.
And yeah, I think Brock being a bit shorter kind of makes sense because I think he is younger than we would give him credit for.
Is he? I thought
based on he's not much older than the other two.
Yeah, but I thought he's at least past puberty, so he would be at least mostly fully grown. Whereas I know
you still grow around the age of 16.
No, I feel like he's closer to 18 because of how much siblings he had to look after and run the gym.
I think his parents were just very busy.
Like, people can correct us in the comments on anything we're wrong with. We don't really mind. It's just, I feel like he's 18 and I would love someone to clarify. I don't think the wiki is going to answer your question.
15.
15?
As of debut, he was 15.
Oh, bullshit, but okay.
This is Brock from the anime, yes.
Okay, then I guess he's permanently 15, even though I was sure he looks 16, 18.
I mean, we say, like, the thing is, we are told that Ash is 10 for every season, but as we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, there is an 3-movie short where they celebrate Ash and Pikachu's anniversary.
1 year anniversary, yes.
Exactly. So he should be at least 11
he should be
by now.
He should be at least 11 by Gen 2.
Yes. But they don't ever bring that up again. I guess it's not. It could be just not canon.
Yeah.
Since it's a short.
Most likely, whereas thus, at least they tried tying into canon. Like, after this, they immediately fucking stopped trying.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they kind of got it right here, and then just so like, you know, we don't need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. So, continuing on with the movie, as Nurse Joy guides us up the stairs, and we actually see who survives getting here.
Nurse Joy, by the way, not badly done in the season.
So, Nurse Joy is actually pretty good, and her voice acting is pretty good, until she goes back to Nurse Joy, and then immediately her voice acting drops to Nurse Joy voice acting.
Which is very monotone, much like
Yes, they were both probably told to do the very same high-pitched monotone.
Yeah. I'm honestly, I probably have never checked who plays their voices.
So we finally see the all my Pokemon are water types, and there's a fucking Nidoqueen.
Which in Evolution they at least said all my Pokemon are
great
good
swimmers. Which I didn't know Nidoqueen can apparently learn surf in the game, so I guess that is true.
I mean, Tauros can learn surf if I'm not mistaken.
Surfing on a buffalo makes sense.
Yeah, Tauros can learn surf, Zigzagoon can learn surf, Pikachu can learn surf, but that was, I think, more an homage to the Pikachu surfing.
Yeah, so you need a special Pikachu from a certain game to get it to learn surf. And then it's also paid homage with Raichu using its tail as a surfboard in Sun and Moon. Yeah, so we get back to seeing who all survives. We get a brief meeting of them and blah.
Blast!
And then we get the amazing intro of, well, not intro, but the reveal of Mewtwo is actually the mastermind behind this. And just, you can't be a Pokemon master because you're a Pokemon.
A Pokemon can't be a Pokemon master? No way!
Okay, firstly, can I just point out how much of a racist asshole that dude was being? Just because you're a Pokemon, you can't be a Pokemon trainer? What?
Tell that to N.
Exactly! Well, N wasn't a Pokemon. Well, I know the theory.
Yeah,
that's
a theory we'll get to when we get to that movies.
That generation.
Yeah, when we get to that generation and shit.
How are you gonna tell a Pokemon who is speaking into your mind and has constructed, not only constructed this massive castle, but also caused the fucking storm outside, you can't be a Pokemon trainer, you are a Pokemon.
He has made the castle with plumbing. But regardless, though it does feel like in the, well, in both of them, since how Team Rocket gets into the cloning lab, that it's more sewage for that fluids that come from the cloning lab than anything else. And the man has fountains everywhere. He needs to have some fucking
He needs
plumbing.
to have some decent plumbing.
Yeah, he needs to have decent plumbing if he has
also,
drinkable water.
He's hosting a lady friend.
True enough, true enough.
I mean, she's human, she needs to take a no, actually no. Women don't shit, what am I saying?
Someone's gonna misconstrue that. Look, like, again, looking through this movie, the lighting, the animation, the 2D one, you get the lighting every time they're in a different room. It's clear that they are walking down this weird alien place, because it's Team Rocket walking down this corridor and they just yellow-fied because the lights are yellow. It sets the mood, and then they walk into the lab and then it's immediately got this weird greenish tint over it.
Yeah, because of the lighting and chemicals and whatnot.
And I love the cloning. Like, I love the design of Mewtwo's castle. Like again,
it is magnificent.
Like again, it fits his aesthetic of his this weird not from this world thing, where it literally looks like they took Alien as an inspiration for some of these backgrounds and the design of the castle in total.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Well, we get the who's that Pokemon scene.
Pokemon identified. Begin replication sequence.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Meowth!
Yes, which, I don't, was that in the original?
Yes, that's in the original.
I saw, okay.
That's multiple times in the original.
I thought it was very cute.
It's
like pandering to the
yes,
kids.
later on it's also, who is that Pokemon? And then while they're cloning everyone else's Pokemon that they caught, they just do it again.
And yeah, honestly, the whole experience of this movie, like, from Team Rocket's perspective, is mostly just like wholesome fun.
Yes, they're like,
despite them being the villains in, like, Team Rocket has this thing going where
movies.
They are like, firstly, the worst villains because they suck at their job, but also they are the worst people because they are the villains. However, in every fucking movie, they are somewhat the good guys to an extent.
They are somewhat the good guys, and they are somewhat the way you get exposition.
Either exposition or at some points they are a Deus Ex Machina.
Yes, we'll get to that in the next movie. I know specifically what you speak of.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah. So that will be the next movie, if I'm correct.
No. Wait, which one are you talking about?
With the one where they just appear with a boat and then they help them get to the last section and then they nearly die and then Lugia appears.
Sorry, I think we were thinking of a different movie. I was thinking of Entei.
Hey. What do they do?
They do kind of help a bit at the end of that one.
Okay, we'll get there when...
If I'm remembering correctly.
We'll get there when we both have to rewatch that movie. Luckily, we don't need to do 2 movies at once from then. It's just the dub and the sub we just need to do when it comes to those.
Yeah. So that was the Team Rocket finding
yes. And then it's just more people trying to wreck Mewtwo for no reason.
And failing. And then we have Mewtwo's little tournament.
Not even so. It's... We watch Pokemon being birthed first.
Oh, right, yes. We watch the 3 starters fully evolve.
Yes, which...
being
there must be an animation error because Blastoise comes out without his guns and then he goes blah and then the guns suddenly appear.
I mean, his guns do retract.
Yes, but his shell closes, which I don't think they ever did in the original.
No, I think they do.
Did they? Okay, I'll look for a clip if it does.
Don't quote me on that. Again, my knowledge is very touch and go on everything in life.
No, don't worry. If it does, I'll cut in the thing because I see in Evolution they fixed it where the gun holes are open. It's just the guns are retracted.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like it's just a 2D animation error where they didn't draw the gun spaces, and then when the guns come out, they did.
Yes. Also, can I ask a question? What was the point in Mewtwo releasing Nurse Joy?
She was pointless. He only had her
to gather the participants.
No, so she, like he says, she knows Pokemon physiology.
Oh yes.
And then that's the only reason he has her. And then when the tournament starts, obviously, he doesn't need her to aid him anymore, so he just lets her go.
I mean, she could still be helpful if someone gets hurt. Like,
I mean,
Mewtwo, if you get fucked up, you're gonna need some healing. I know you're probably not going to. But
that's the thing. He's very sure about himself.
Yeah, he's got that cocky, overconfident thing going for him.
And
which, well, I mean, it's deserved. It's well founded.
And then, as you said, we get to the legendary tournament of Brute Root, Shell Shocker, and I don't have a name for him.
And just Charizard.
But Charizard.
Right, Brute Root?
It's what we Shell Shocker. It may not have a nickname, but I do have Charizard.
And Charizard just immediately attacks Mewtwo. Like,
I think this was before Charizard was properly
yes,
tamed.
that was only Gen 2.
Because that was Orange Island.
Yes, that was
specifically.
yes. So Charizard is an asshole for no reason. I get it's a reference to the game where if you train a certain Pokemon too much, it goes out of control because you don't have badges to train it.
Yeah. Basically, it's a
way so you don't power level.
A contest of worthiness. Yeah. So if you are not worthy of the Pokemon, which for some reason is determined by the badges that you've earned, they will not listen to you. Which, in the games is still a thing, but in the anime it's been kind of scrapped.
Yeah. It's something that's ignored now, but it was a cute reference, even though it was kind of sucky because Charmander and Charmeleon were really good friends with Ash.
Yeah, it was just kind of out of the blue that Charizard was just a piece of shit.
Especially after how Ash is the one that saves him from the most British trainer in existence.
Charmander, return!
The most British cunt in existence. And it was actually, like, I found it very sad because, like, even as Charmeleon, for some reason I remembered, like, before I rewatched the series many years later, I remember Charmeleon also being kind of an asshole.
He was slightly, yes.
And then I rewatched it. No, he wasn't. He was exactly the same as he was as Charmander.
I remember him being
He evolved in one episode though, which was kind of weird, and I think that was kind of the homage, or the trigger to that whole situation. He leveled up too fast.
I will say, Mewtwo's clones, like Charizard especially, adds a lot to the design where I feel like the markings makes Charizard a lot better because I feel Charizard's design is very plain. And then this is the tournament arc. We learn Ash is a Dex nerd. Where you beat him in speed, not power.
This is a reoccurring thing within the Pokemon anime.
Yes,
though.
where
Ash is always a Dex nerd.
I remember with Greninja also, that was his entire battle strategy was...
with Greninja, with fucking Sceptile and Grovyle. With even currently in the new season, he's using Lucario in the same, or not Lucario, but what is it? What is it called?
Oh, the first one.
Maybe Lucario.
Yeah. I know Riolu.
Rulio or Rolio. Riolu. There we go. Rolio.
Fucking Rolio.
Riolu. Recently, he in the latest episode, he took on Bay, as we call her. The fighting leader for Galar. And yeah, once again, they clearly pointed out from the stands, it's Satoshi's signature strategy, using speed against power.
And
yeah, he's just a Dex
and
nerd.
as Russian Badger says, I only need to hit you once, Dex nerd.
I only have to hit you once, Dex nerd.
To which the Charizard just needs to indeed hit Ash's Charizard a couple times, and then just Izuna drops it from hell. Well, it's a seismic toss, but it's not the legendary seismic toss from the anime where the
there's
earth
no moon
comes
here. Like, because that was my introduction to seismic toss, I never knew what it would look like if other Pokemon did it.
I still don't understand.
So,
I imagine it as a suplex if other ones do it.
It's basically just a suplex with a jump.
So it's a last ride, you mean? It's just Undertaker's last ride where he like puts you on his shoulders and throws you down.
Kinda. Whereas Charizard just flies into the fucking sky with you and drops you down. Always looks incredibly painful,
yes.
I will say.
That's why I love Izuna drops and Omoto Renges in anything. It looks like the most painful thing ever. Yeah, it looks like the most dangerous thing ever.
I guess he has to take some of that impact.
No, he doesn't, because it's the point of...
Oh no, he jumps off.
He jumps off before you hit the ground. That's the entire point of it.
Yeah.
I guess it's dangerous if you have cup timing and you accidentally primary lotus your own head.
I will always remember the fight against Ash and the Dragon Trainer for the Dragon Gym leader for Gen 2 in the anime, where she used Whirlpool while Charizard was trying to do a seismic toss. Her Dragonair used Whirlpool, and he just countered with Fire Spin. So we got a Fire Spin topped off with a seismic toss. And it was the most badass thing in the world.
Back to the movie, as all the tangents we go on. I don't see why...
I feel like that's going to be a shit.
Yeah. I don't see why Mewtwo needs the starters.
I think, like, that's the thing. They were his first friends.
No. The start.
He doesn't remember it.
I don't see why he needs their starters.
Oh, yeah, I don't either. There's no point in it. He already has them.
Yes, he already has them and the genetic data, so why do you need to catch Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, and all that?
I guess it's just, he too is a Pokemon trainer, so he too needs to follow the Pokédex.
He's straight up just filling the fucking PC box.
Yeah. And also I guess it's so that they can't be used by the trainers?
No, that's the thing. He says he's gonna give them back. No. He says he's not gonna give them back. He lets the humans go, though.
Yeah.
Like
humans,
says,
you can fuck off. I don't know how you're gonna get off this island that's surrounded by a storm.
That was his whole point. He said, you are free to go, but you will perish in the storm.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess he was just trying to get rid of the Pokemon, like get them out of the picture.
Yeah. I think he just wanted to like keep them for keepsake, because as he said, he's not letting the he's not letting the Pokemon go. He's letting the trainers go
to die.
Yes, and then
pretty bad guy that Mewtwo.
Yeah, and then proceeds one of kind of the most tense scenes ever, where it's everyone just trying to save their own Pokemon.
Yes, which honestly, as a child, that had me like emotionally ready.
Yeah, so Pikachu just desperately trying to run away, but you have to
trying to run away, running out of energy, keeps firing off more. Choose.
Yeah, and then falls off, and then Ash tries catching him.
So hard to catch him. And
but you have to love Ash's first thing. We can just keep them in their Pokeballs, and then Mewtwo's like, useless.
Nice try. Which, I mean, that's a 5-hit move from Ash. It's just 189 IQ from you two to have thought of that beforehand.
The funny thing is, this is another change from the original to Evolution. It's where Ash goes, we just need to keep them in their Pokeballs, and then Mewtwo goes useless, and then Ash runs up to the things, hearing Mewtwo say this, and still keeps them in their Pokeballs.
We just gotta get them into their Pokeballs.
A waste of time.
Squirtle, return! Got him!
Whereas in the original dub, Ash goes, we need to keep them in their Pokeballs, and then pulls them in first, and then Mewtwo goes useless.
Yes, which is a slight change, but you know.
It's a slight change, but I feel like it just makes Ash seem a bit dumber in Evolution.
Yeah.
But they do make the scene of Misty desperately hiding Togepi sadder, because she's like, shh, Togepi, just keep quiet, and then
just keep quiet. No one needs to know you're here.
Yes.
And I mean, it was the smartest move, in all honesty.
I don't think they
Togepi was the only... No, they never caught Togepi.
Yeah. Also, I know I'm a fucking idiot. I just realized these are Master Balls.
Wait, they are?
Yes. No, sorry, they're Great Balls.
No, they're not.
They're Great Balls, sorry.
Are they?
Yeah, you can see by the lines on them. That
yes, the 2 lines on the sides. Did Mewtwo just design his own Great Balls and send it to, like...
Yes, he just bought a bunch of Great Balls and just...
sent the design to Silph.
Yeah.
Like, in the original, Misty was kind of putting Togepi in the bag, like, on the go.
Yes, but she didn't.
So she didn't have that. Yeah. It was more like, okay, I'm gonna put you in your enclosed door and run away. Whereas in Evolution, I remember it being more like, okay, just calm down, stay quiet.
Yes, she takes the time. She takes the time to hide behind a pillar, tell Togepi to calm down, fully zips up the bag, so Togepi's head is also just entirely in.
Yeah. Which, honestly, in many ways, it shows more emotion.
Yes. It makes it a sadder moment, because it does feel like she's really just desperately trying to keep them safe.
Which is good. I mean, even in the original, they were doing the same thing. It's just, it's conveyed, but not as well.
Yes, it's something where they had the time to expand on it in the remake, and therefore they did.
Yeah.
Like, you do get more of everyone trying to protect their Pokemon in Evolution.
Yes. And then we also have... one thing I want to point out is that a lot of the... I don't know if it's just for me, but some of the attacks, or some of the attacks that we see in Evolution just looks a lot cleaner.
Yes, and that's...
CG?
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the CG.
About CG, yeah. Whereas...
The effects can be better.
Sorry?
The effects of the attacks come off better.
Yes. Whereas in the original, though, it looks a lot more... like the Charizard versus Charizard scene, to me, looked a lot more brutal in 2D animation.
Yes, so...
it kind of reminded me of that scene of Squirtle versus Charmander in Pokemon Origin.
Oh, just where fucking Charmander screaming. No.
Yeah.
No, yeah, sorry, it was Squirtle screaming.
Squirtle, no. Squirtle but Charmander.
Yes, and then Charmander.
Sorry. A lot of confusion there.
Yeah, you confused me, and then my mind switched.
I did, I'm sorry.
So...
I have a habit of just completing sentences that other people start.
So, what the CG is, they made the effects of the attacks look fucking amazing. But physically, the physical fighting isn't as... like, it doesn't have the impact you'd want.
Yeah. And it's an issue that comes with CG quite often.
Where 2D, I feel they always have they always know how to do impact better in 2D.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Like,
nowadays
even,
it's square blocks fly off the ground, but yeah.
Which, most of the time looks badass.
It looks badass. I'm just tired of seeing the same square blocks in everything.
Yeah. Okay, I just, so I've been having the movie run in the background while we've been talking.
Yeah, yeah.
I just saw the scene after Ash destroys the cloning device.
Yeah.
And walks out to the rubble.
I mean, we're getting there,
Okay, aren't we there now?
No. Yeah, so basically what I wanted to just say was that, yeah, we get to the part where Mewtwo clones everything, and then when his clones come out after he tells everyone to just leave and the storm will decide their fate, his own clones just destroys part of his building to get out of the lab. And even he looks behind him like, what the fuck just happened?
No, it wasn't just his clones, it was...
No.
At least...
It's first his clones that do it. And then...
No. So, I'm watching it now, and what I mean, I was only half paying attention, but, what I saw was, basically Ash, remember Ash goes to save Pikachu from inside
yes.
the machine, which causes some damage to the machine already.
Yes, and then that explodes.
And that explodes. And I assume that kind of caused a chain reaction for after the clones got out.
No, because if you look at the scene, it's clear that the clones are walking out of the explosion, meaning they opened a path for themselves.
No, that wasn't the clones, that was the originals
no.
From the balls.
No, that's the clones, and then afterwards Ash walks out with the originals.
Oh, sorry, I missed that part then. Like I said, I'm only half paying attention.
Yeah, so in the original dub, it's literally Mewtwo saying that they can walk out and accept their fate of dying in the storm, basically. And then the explosion happens, and then he looks over his shoulder like, what the fuck? And then his clones walk out, and he goes, my clones have arrived.
Do you think he has enough budget to repair the cloning devices?
I mean, he can just repair it with his mind, as he always does. and then,
so it's not really a loss for him.
Yes, and then another scene where, in the original, the OST upped it.
You can't do this! I won't let you!
It's Ash walking out with the originals. In the original dub, it's this marching music, which fits how it's supposed to be.
But the reason I was bringing up the scene is because while those Pokemon are walking out, the animation for their walking just looks very odd. It's like the pacing of their leg movements don't match anything.
So, I can see your issue is they are clearly walking on smoke at some frames.
Not even just that, it's just the pacing of their movements don't match.
Yes.
Their speed.
Yes, and that's the issue. It's clearly that the characters, like, it's overlaid over the background, obviously. But it's clear they didn't pan the foreground enough for them to move at the proper pace. And also, I mean, we can also just chalk this down to animators are people too. Yeah, they mess up sometimes. It's fine if they do a lot of
Not even just that, it's just, I guess at this point that they're also just getting close to the end of the deadline, we can say.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, time is of the essence, and it isn't, it's an important shot, but it's not a big shot for the movie, based on everything, prioritizing that over everything else.
Yeah.
So it's possible that they just decided, okay, we're going to be a bit too lax on that particular shot. But yes, the pacing thing, the panning thing is more accurate. The scale of the positioning for those Pokemon was a bit off.
Yeah. And then we get to the legendary Mew appears, and then Mew vs. Mew, which is another change that they make in Evolution, where Nurse Joy mentions it's because they are two of the same species, they will never stop until they are both dead.
Living things won't give up their territory to other members of their own species.
Where in the dub, it's just made clear that Mewtwo wants to prove he's the superior.
He's the stronger, yeah.
But how? All Mewtwo cares about is proving how strong those super clones are.
Like, his birth wasn't just pointless, that he is actually stronger.
Yes, which he himself does mention in Evolution, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he does mention that. It's just Nurse Joy goes, no, it's because they are all the same species.
Nurse Joy is just too up her own ass about what she knows, man.
Like, she's entirely making that the reason each Pokemon is fighting their clone is because they are the same species and they are fighting for this,
it's
for
like
territory.
There can be only one type of situation.
Yeah, that they are fighting for territory, and Mew just also wants to prove his clones are superior.
Yes.
Even without their enhanced abilities. So even he goes, I'll dull their enhanced abilities to make it a fair fight, to show that they are better.
So there was a line, we're coming up on that scene now, but the following scene is basically just Mewtwo versus Mew, and then the clones versus the originals.
Yeah.
And it is the most heartbreaking Pokemon fight.
Oh, and it's another
ever.
scene where the OST just enhances it in the original dub.
It just runs home the point that this is not okay.
My brother.
So, like I said, I fell asleep while watching the movie again, and I woke up during the scene because somebody woke me up.
Yeah.
And the first thing I heard was, brother, my brother. Like, that's the song he was talking about.
And it's another thing of the panning issue, like when you're watching this in the 2D version.
Yeah.
When My Brother starts playing and they pan over the Pokemon, you can see they aren't attached to the floor.
Yes,
because
I just saw that.
Yeah, where some of them are just sliding slightly.
This is honestly one of the most heartbreaking things I've seen in Pokemon.
Yeah, this is honestly was a really sad scene and still.
Bye, Butterfree, be damned.
Like, it's just, you can see the desperation in the fighting, and they did a really good job. I honestly cannot. Yeah, I don't feel it's the same in.
Like,
CG.
I laughed a bit more watching the fighting in Evolution, just because of the actions that were being used.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's as desperate of fighting, because it just feels like a normal Pokemon battle, I guess, because it doesn't look like they actually are getting seriously hurt. Whereas in the 2D version, you see the bruises as they are as they are attacking each other.
Yes, you see the damage piling up.
Yes.
Over the course of the scene.
Gyarados is biting Gyarados, whereas in the CG version, it's just a tail whoop.
Physical attacks look a lot harsher.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, most of the scene is just a slap fight between Pokemon.
Yes, it's basically that, and Scyther just desperately trying not to fucking die, because you know if one of them fuck up, the other's going in half.
Like, if one of them slip up, the other is going to be decapitated.
Yes.
And then we also have, like, the Pokemon with no arms, or that can't stand on their hind legs, like Bulbasaur, just ramming into each other. Which, for Bulbasaur, it looked kinda cute, because there's two Bulbasaurs booping each other.
Yeah, but you see the
Venusaur,
bruising on them.
Eh?
You
do see the bruise, yes.
Bruising on them. And then Pikachu's like fucking headbutting the other Pikachu.
The Pikachu slap fight, though.
And then the sad thing is, they go slow motion, both of them, where you just see them biting at each other's necks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this is just so bad.
And then we look at Pikachu, who doesn't want to fight anymore, coming up closer to the end of the scene. Pikachu just does, like, Ash's Pikachu just doesn't want to fight anymore. And the clone is like, no, we are fucking doing this, and just slaps him some more. And this continues for a uncomfortably long time.
Yeah, and then we get Nurse Joy interjecting, Pokemon aren't meant to fight. I'm like, what?
Pokemon aren't meant to fight. Not like this.
What? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah, we have that, and then we have, I think it was Team Rocket saying, this isn't what Pokemon. This is how Pokemon is supposed to be. If we ever get out of this, I'm never fighting again. I'm never having Pokemon fight again. The fuck are you talking about?
No. They are specifically talking, fighting each other, like themselves.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Because they're talking about best friends.
No, there was somebody that says...
No, that's Nurse Joy.
Was it Nurse Joy? I thought it was also either Misty or Team Rocket that said something as well. I can't remember.
Misty and Brock talks about they are loving beings and it's not meant to be like this.
Yeah, they aren't meant to fight. And then I'm just sitting here like, do you guys know what show this is?
Yeah, and then again we get to another change of the remake that I feel is for the worse, where Meowth is like, Meowth comes up to Meowth and then Clone Meowth goes, "Do you think it's a full moon?"
You wanna know if tonight's gonna be a full moon? Yep, I think tonight is gonna be a full moon filled to the top.
And I'm like, where's the emotional speech that was in the original?
The heart-to-heart that the two Meowths had in the original.
Where they don't want to fight each other and they're like, we share the same sky, we share a lot of things, we shouldn't need to fight.
You mean, we don't have to fight with each other? But how can I trust you? You was born different. We do have a lot in common. The same earth, the same air, the same sky. Maybe if we started looking at what's the same, instead of always looking at what's different, well, who knows?
Yeah, that will always touch me.
This is literally something fucking
in a good way.
Humans can learn from this fucking speech.
Yeah.
That Meowth, like, fucking Meowth gives this speech.
Like, this is the speech that humanity needs today.
Yes.
And it's just it's a really just brilliant moment in like all of Pokemon, really, that doesn't it's never really done this way again.
Like, I feel what the future Pokemon movies lack is the heartfelt lesson this one tries to teach you.
Yeah, like they all have some form of a lesson, but the others are more about the journey along the way than anything else.
Yeah, that's the thing. After this, I think, yeah, it's after Celebi's movie, it's where they all devolve into small Pokemon versus of big Pokemon. Ash meets small Pokemon. Ash must help small Pokemon achieve their goal, while big Pokemon randomly appears and attacks.
Yeah, and that trend is kept for Celebi, for Bikini, for...
I feel the only
Shaman.
generation that drops that is kinda Gen 4, where Darkrai isn't really a Pokemon he has to defend. Darkrai is defending them.
Yeah, Darkrai, although Darkrai being one of the pseudo-villains of the story is actually in my hand.
Yes. Then Shaman goes back to that, which Shaman, it's Arceus, which doesn't do that. Which Arceus is entirely, we need to fucking go back in time and stop this shit from ever happening.
Yes. And then after that we have Black and White, right?
Yeah, Black and White also has that.
It only has 1 or 2 movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, there is a Pokemon they have to defend in the first one, and then Ash must go to either Kyurem or Victini, and then the second one is the one of the
Volcanion?
No, it's the one with the horseman, not the horseman, musketeer.
Oh,
Pokemon.
Yes, the 4 musketeers.
Yeah, and then you must protect him from Kyurem.
Right, yes, I forgot about Kyurem. Those Black 2 and White 2.
Yeah.
The show has come a long way since.
It's come a long way,
1.
but I feel like it's lost a lot of its heart along the way.
Like it's turned into more just an adventure without the models.
Yes, and that's kind of why I don't watch as much Pokemon as I used to. Like, I'll come back for the early movies and that.
Yeah, although I will always say, without a doubt, X and Y is a really good generation of
Yes, it was. Like, X and Y is one of the last.
Back to the movie
back to the movie after our long-ass tangent. So yeah, Pikachu slapping each other. Nurse Joy in the original dub saying something which I can honestly understand. I'd rather risk myself in a storm than watch these Pokemon destroy each other.
Yes, that is much more heartfelt than Pokemon shouldn't fight.
No, well, she says that in that. She says that in the same dub. But
Does
still.
she?
Yeah, that's the same movie where she says it.
Oh shit, that's what I was watching, not Evolution.
And then she says that, yeah, and then later on she says, I'll rather risk myself out in the storm. And obviously Pikachu like, can we not just fight each other? And Pikachu's like, no! Bitch slap.
Bitch slap. Other bitch slap.
It's just fucking...
Until eventually they just conked over on each other.
Clone Pikachu just spamming the double slaps.
And then I think it was Clone Pikachu who succumbed to fatigue first.
Yeah, basically.
And then Pikachu catches him and he's like, no, get off me! And tries to go for another slap. It was just heart-wrenching, or heartbreaking rather.
Yeah, and yeah, then we get to Ash being a fucking idiot and trying to body block 2 fireballs.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you get a Hadouken from both sides and it doesn't end well for the one in the middle.
It still makes no sense that he just turns into rock, but okay.
You know, they had the Petrify spell.
Okay, before we get to that, again, Evolution just looks fucking awesome when it's 2 non-physical things fighting and it's just energy radiating off of them.
Mew versus Mewtwo.
Yeah, where they're just slowly going towards each other and they both just emanating this aura.
Yeah, it looked amazing. Although it's kind of sad that they didn't have the sphere anymore, but it makes sense that they wouldn't, because I mean they were both using Protect while fighting the whole time, which doesn't really make sense in a Pokemon battle.
Yeah, then Ash body blocks and fucking dies, and every Pokemon like, fucking idiot, he's gone. And starts crying. Like, honestly, it is kind of sad, you know, it doesn't hit as hard as it used to, because you
as a child, was the saddest
sad.
shit.
Yeah, because as a child you think he's dead.
You think he's dead, it's your first time watching the movie. You don't understand that movies are not canon yet, and the show must go on.
Yes.
And lastly, Ash wasn't actually a very important, like, to children who loved Pokemon, Ash was a very important character in their lives.
Yes.
So watching him die would be absolutely devastating.
I mean, I feel like the entire emotional thing comes from this is Pikachu trying desperately to revive him.
Oh, that will never be easy to watch.
And then it cuts to Pikachu crying.
that will never be easy to watch.
Like the closest analogy you can get is a dog trying to wake its owner.
Yeah, which, I mean, nobody wants to see that.
Exactly.
Like I don't mean that in like a insensitive way, I mean like, nobody wants to have to watch a dog revive its owner.
Yes.
It's just nudging him with the nose or whatever. And that's just an image that will never be easy to watch.
Yeah. To be fair, in Evolution it looks like he turns to metal.
Yeah.
Because it's reflective, so I think he gets fucking metalized by
He just turns into Metal Mario.
Yeah. And then yeah, we get the prophecy finally fulfills that Pokemon Tears will fix everything.
Because I mean, this is brought up again in Celebi's movie.
It is?
Yeah, Tears kinda healed Celebi.
Oh fuck, honestly, I barely remember Celebi's movie, so we'll get there when we get there. But again, we get this very nice speech from even Mewtwo, of all things.
I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Yes.
Where he learns his lesson that it doesn't matter how you come into this world, what matters is what you do with the life you are given.
Exactly.
So that's a lesson people can learn in this world.
It doesn't
currently.
matter who you or where you are born, where you are from, who your parents are, or what life you've been, or what life you've been leading up until now. If you make an effort to work hard, improving yourself and improving your life, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's a positive improvement.
Yeah, if it's a positive improvement and you're happy with yourself, just fucking go for it, guys.
Yeah, nobody's gonna tell you. Well, there are people that will tell you that you can't do something, you should do something. And like I said, if it's a good change and you feel like it's healthy and you need it, and it won't hurt anybody, obviously, then fuck those people and go for it.
Yes, and then the Pokemon ascend.
And then the Pokemon ascend. Just once you've improved yourself, the Pokemon will ascend.
The Pokemon will fucking ascend into heaven.
Yes. In Evolution, it looked a lot more like they were just going to heaven.
I mean, it's because it's clear they don't have power over it, so it's just randomly they're getting tugged away and they're looking at the Declan like, see your pal.
Whereas in the original, it just looked like Mewtwo was gonna take them to live on the moon or some shit.
Yeah, which is kind of semi-touched on in a later movie, but it's not the same Mewtwo.
Which is a bit odd since Mewtwo...
Yeah, but as we said, the movies aren't canon to each other. But
yeah.
it is a nod to later on where Mewtwo is protecting a land of Pokemon, and you can kinda infer that it's from his clones.
Yes. I would say the offspring of his clone, but not even a year has passed, so...
True enough. And then we fucking learn that Mewtwo can apparently just fucking control time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a mind wipe. It's straight up. He just reverses time.
Yes.
Which at least that trainers didn't die then.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, let's be honest, they fucking died. They just didn't anymore. They undied.
Yes. At least they won't have memories of themselves and their Pokemon drowning.
I mean, we can hope, because everybody else remembered.
No one remembers.
So no one remembers the events on the
No one remembers. Because even Mewtwo goes, even though what happened here is good, I believe it's best you all do not remember. And then
so that's why they don't stop Pokemon battles. They don't remember that decision.
Yeah, all their lessons just gone.
Yeah, which, I mean, I understand. Like, it was a pretty traumatic experience for most of those trainers.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would want to he would want to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So, kind of a dick move considering that most of his trauma came from his memory getting wiped. One thing I was going to say though is that I don't remember the original, but in Evolution, when the Pokemon were ascending, they were kind of had that white glow to them. Like everybody except Mewtwo, I think.
So in the original, it's a blue glow, and it's so it's a blue glow, and then you watch them flying through the clouds as they all glow blue.
Yes. And a blue glow in the original was usually a sign of telekinesis being used.
Yes.
So that would kind of infer that Mewtwo is taking it.
Yes.
Whereas in Evolution, it looks more like they are just fucking going to disappear.
Yeah, but in Evolution, it's Mew and Mewtwo light up in that golden aura to infer it's them taking them away.
Yeah, I was just a bit concerned that the clones may have, deteriorated like his friends of the past.
You mean because it's the exact same scene that where his friends of the past were starting
no,
to die?
it does look at all the same. It's just, if it was like I feel like that would have been kind of a shitty move by the writers to just take away Mewtwo's clones like that.
Yeah. But yeah, as goes, the storm finally clears up. The entire movie's done, and of course Mew just shows up to Ash again.
Which is weird, because Mew went with them.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Mew constantly shows up to trainers, because it's a mischievous piece of shit. I couldn't say that word.
I mean, yeah, it likes pranking people.
Yeah, it's a child, basically. I mean, when you've been alive for centuries, eventually you just get bored and start pranking people. And yeah, that about wraps up the movie, though.
Nearly. We are forgetting one thing.
What?
Mewtwo doesn't take Team Rocket back, and they just are stuck on New Island as...
Wait, what?
Yeah, at the end of them both movies, Team Rocket's just stuck on New Island. And then they go, we don't know why we are here, but Team Rocket's signing off again.
Which, I mean, new base? I'm just saying, open land.
I mean, technically Giovanni owns the island, so...
That's pretty realistic.
It's not. Giovanni already owns it.
Giovanni already owns the island.
He couldn't get rid of the guy that was squatting there.
And he didn't want to send in the Yakuza or Tachibana.
We are done with the movie. The Evolution has this nice painted art that comes over it. Over the credits, while the original has, the prerequisite Ash and team walking along backgrounds that we kind of wish they'd visit in the anime, but they never will.
I mean, it's kind of alluded to that they will go to those, or they have been to those locations.
Yes, that's what it's alluding to, but you never
yeah.
see it in the show, even though they look so beautiful.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame, but I mean, okay, Team Rocket was happy to be stranded on that island.
Yeah,
firstly.
they were happy to be there.
But yeah,
that's the movies. That's it. They don't hold up as well as they used to, but they are really good.
I mean, it's hard for a movie this old to hold up against movies of this time in terms of quality.
Yeah.
In terms of the story, though, I think holds up really well.
It's still the best of the Pokemon movies.
Yeah, like I think I've watched Entei's movie and Latias's movie more. Was it Mystery of the Unknown? Secrets of the Unknown?
Secrets or Mysteries of the Unknown is the third one, yeah.
And Heroes is...
Yeah, Heroes is Latias and Latios.
I watched those two movies more than this one, so I have but I still feel like this one has the better story.
Yeah.
With Heroes being a close second. I was never a huge fan of the whole Entei wants me to call him daddy thing.
No, Entei didn't want him to want.
I know.
Yeah, but that movie I think will be second for me, but we'll get there when we get there, because I do really like the lesson it's also teaching of this little girl that needs to learn to let go and grow up.
But yeah, I guess we'll be going through, like, going forward, or are we going to just go through all the Pokemon movies and then move over to something else?
Yeah,
or are we gonna go...
so
are we going to switch it up every now and again?
I say we do as much Pokemon as we can until we get a bit burnt out from, before we get burnt out from it, and then we just switch.
Before Pokemon is just too much to
Yeah,
handle.
because there's like 14 movies.
At least.
Yeah, so we might get burnt out. So what I say is we do a few... Okay, how about this? Viewers, tell us if this works out for you, if you make it this far in the video.
I hope you do, because it's a long video.
We will do the batch of generations. So we'll do a batch of generations, then switch up to a different either franchise or different kind of anime movie, and then we'll come back after that to do another batch of the generation, sorry.
Yeah, so like, the batch of... So the next batch would be Gen 2, because I think Mewtwo was the only Gen 1
movie.
Wait.
Pokemon 2000 is Gen 1, but Lugia is Gen 2.
Right, because it's the 3 legendary birds.
Yes, and they like sneaking in
and
at least
Lugia.
One reference to the next generation.
Yeah, so I guess 2000 would be next.
Yeah.
And then after that we can take a break for, like, I don't know.
We can take a break.
Do a Digimon or...
Digimon or any other anime movies. We can also ask for recommendations of stuff that people
anybody
would
want
like.
anything? Anybody want us to review anything? Leave it out in the comments.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look. We have a small enough fan base at this point in time that we can bother looking at comments.
Yeah, and even then we can just find what we like.
Yeah. And yeah, that's... We're gonna call it here?
So, final thoughts. Really good movie.
Alright, we forgot about that.
Yeah, really good movie. I love the atmosphere of the movie. The animation, while good, has its flaws in both versions of Evolution and the original.
Yeah, we did mention quite a few points on both sides.
Yeah.
From my end, about the same, yeah. I probably would, if I was gonna recommend for a child to watch it that hasn't watched Pokemon at all yet, I would probably not start with the original dub. I'd probably give it an Evolution first, personally. Firstly because I feel like the art style is a bit more child friendly, the CG, but at the same time I wouldn't deny them watching the original. It's just for me personally, I feel like it's a bit more hard to swallow.
That's the thing, I would take the original over the CG.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now, and just like the idea of you give a child something that looks something CG, which looks all nice and shiny, and then after that you present them with the original, they're not going to be too happy with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. The child won't really want to. That's the thing. Children aren't really that judgy a lot of the time.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like, children, they'll watch whatever you put in front of them, but they will have preferences.
Yes.
And I feel like if you do show them the CG, they will prefer that over the 2D.
Yeah.
Whereas back then, the best of 2D we got was fucking Reboot.
Which, you mean of CG?
Yeah.
Which, to this day, despite how shitty it might hold up, I will still go find Reboot and watch it. Just for nostalgia's sake. I don't think we'll ever do a review of Reboot, just because it's a very obscure reference, and as far as I'm aware, there's no movies of it.
Nah, and even the show, I didn't like Reboot that much, so...
I was a fan, but that's mostly nostalgia. Nostalgia?
We'll be ending the video here. Thank you all for getting this far in the... In this video. If you want to check us out, I don't know whose YouTube channels will go on, but if it's on...
probably yours.
Yeah, probably. So if mine is Game Corp Plays, like and subscribe if you'd want to. Not gonna force you on that, but yeah. I don't know what the bell does to this day, so press that.
The bell is supposed to, is basically to ensure that they get notifications when you upload a new video.
That's annoying, so I wouldn't recommend it. His channel is Angry Onigiri on YouTube. Yep. He streams on Twitch as
Dullahan, that's DULLAH_HAN.
And yeah, and I will join him majority of the time, and I stream under Game Corp 99. Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say Game Corp Plays, but that's my YouTube.
Nah, that's your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I stream under that. Feel free to join us if you feel so inclined. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we'll see you in any future videos. And that's it from us. Johnny?
That's yours.